Hey, what's up? I'm Mohawk Johnson, uh, and this is not a teenage boy's bedroom. No, this is mine. I am 31 years old, and this is these are my toys. I am going to buy more. Uh, um, we should have a conversation about content creation and why it's horrible. It's very horrible. It's objectively horrible, and I'm going to hit on a couple of points. Some of them political, some of them not. And I know people are going to get mad. They're going to go, "Oh, why are you bringing politics into it?" But believe me, I wish I couldn't, but it is what happens to people. Politics is a thing that you do and a thing that people live under, and demanding that you want a space free of that is kind of why I have to make this video in the first place. So be forewarned. You don't want to hear me talk about politics? Bounce, bounce. This video is not for you. There's other creators, but this is what I'm doing. So by the time this video comes out, I will be on an indefinite hiatus from YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I will still release things on my Patreon, the frequency of which I don't know, but things will come out. And it is because of the ways in which content creation has gotten worse. So this video is going to be a lot of my subjective opinion on things that are observable, but I have no way to quantify or qualify the multiple theses I have about what I am seeing and experiencing. I don't have any science or math to back up anything that I'm saying. I'm just telling you what I see and reporting on what I feel about those matters. I'm sure there are better creators who are more equipped to talk about the ins and outs with graphs and charts, but that's not me. I don't have that skill set. So content creation has become a bit of a hell pizza, and I feel like a single pepperoni on that pizza. I feel as though I am a single drop of water being whipped around in a tide, a sea of AI and low quality content. I keep bumping into pages that do ridiculously large numbers, most of which are reposts or grifts, people who are selling you a course of some sort. On TikTok in particular, I'm seeing this trend of people who are telling you to post 20 and 30 times a day. And we already know that TikTok, Instagram, and many other apps are taking our data. So it's fascinating that people are pushing you, the user, the audience member, to give the app more access to your data by creating more things. And I would not be surprised if they're using the AI to train itself on your content. You're being used. You're in a circle. Again, I have no evidence of this, but I do know that AI does get trained on user input. So when a bunch of content creators come out of the woodwork and tell you you need to post 20 to 30 times a day in order to go viral, while a bunch of large content creators like myself struggle to reach 1,000 views per video, meaning we're not even being sent to our core audiences, something feels a little bit off about that. Especially because a lot of these content creators are telling you that they are making money off of the app when most of them have about 7,000 followers, which means they are not meeting the minimum of TikTok's 10,000 follower count in order to gain monetization. And they also tend to release videos that are shorter than 1 minute, and TikTok does not pay for videos that are shorter than a minute. I caught someone doing this the other day, and I called out that that creator was lying because I am actually on the TikTok Creator Fund. I am actually monetized on TikTok. TikTok won't let a single video of mine do more than 1,000 views, even though I'm releasing the same quality of work that used to get me hundreds of thousands of views on a whim. But that's neither here nor there. There's nothing I can really do about that. The algorithm has been fundamentally different since the head Cheeto in charge took over, and I'm sort of out. These content platforms are pro grift, pro AI, pro gooning, which is something I'm going to get into in a bit, and anti anything political unless those politics are particularly right wing. right wing propaganda permeates these apps. And I feel as though I can't compete with a bunch of grifters who are being paid by the app so that you could push your data into an AI center so that it could train itself on you so that it can replace you later. Which again is not something that I can prove. It's just the thing that I think is happening. I have no data on the subject, and I could very easily be wrong, and I'm open to being wrong. I actually hope I'm wrong about that, but I digress. I just find it fascinating that right wing propaganda can prop itself up and be fine, but anything politically left leaning gets pushed down unless it's a couple of specific creators. And I don't think these creators are in cahoots with the app. I think there will be exceptions to the rule, but I think the rule is that the content needs to be right wing in order to move forward. So, what I'm bumping into and what I'm seeing is a lot of black creators who are anti black, anti immigrant, anti gay, and pro police doing serious numbers, numbers that I used to put up, numbers that I've been putting up for the better part of 5 years based off of unfounded information, conspiracy theories, and horribly unresearched takes, while I struggle to get more than 1,000 views on pages where I have 50,000 followers. And I do think that that's extremely weird. So I feel as though TikTok in particular is telling me that it is not going to push my content unless I grift people by telling them that they can go viral by posting 30 times so that they can make money, even though that's not even how I make money on that app when I'm actually allowed to make money. Or tap dancing for massa. And I simply don't have that in me. I don't have that capacity. The apps love grifts, but they also love AI and easily consumable content. I mentioned earlier that there's been a big push to tell people to make 30 videos a day sometimes in order to go viral. The issue is that most people aren't creative in that way, right? I do believe that everybody has the right to make art. Let's make one thing abundantly clear. I need more people making art. I think we have a healthier society when people have access to the means to express themselves. But I don't think that a 5 year old's finger painting should be in the same gallery as a Picasso. So, even though I think people have the right to participate in social culture because social media is social culture, I don't necessarily think it's good for a culture of people to go viral over and over and over again and to seek going viral if they don't actually create stuff. If you're not a comic, an actor, a painter, a writer, a dancer, a sculptor, something, why do you want to go viral? Why do you want that much attention? And is it good for an artistic space if somebody who sits in their car and talks shit about their neighbors gets put on the same monetization plan as somebody who does claymation? I would argue no. I don't think regular people who use the app for entertainment should be in the same money pool as people who do this seriously for a career. I think it is ridiculously unfair, especially in an attention economy where everybody's attention span has been so horribly dissolved that the most interesting and eye catching thing will get people's attention beyond a well thought out, well choreographed, and well built piece of art that might take a little bit more time to digest. I don't think a random person screaming while pouring milk on their head while stomping on a wheel of cheese deserves to get money over somebody who's painting over a canvas who has spent years studying art. That doesn't make sense to me, but that's what social media does, and that's what content creation is. That's why we call it content instead of art, because the vast majority of it isn't. It is random people who are just doing things that other random people like. So artists like myself, people who write and perform and act, have to compete in a space with, pardon my French here, random bullshit. And I feel like I shouldn't have to compete with random bullshit. I don't think the random bullshit shouldn't exist. You should be able to do random bullshit. But I don't think you deserve to get paid for random bullshit. And I don't deserve to get paid for the work that I do. And there is a gross inconsistency with who gets paid for random bullshit versus who doesn't for actual art. I don't even think the random bullshit can't be monetized. They should just have their own thing. If you're a vlog, there should be a vlog monetization section. There should be a thing for sculptors or a thing for painters or a thing for dancers. And if you do random whatever, there should be a thing for that too. And if 8 million people want to watch you do it, then yeah, the app you're on should pay you. Yeah, sure. I actually recant my earlier statement. If you get 8 million views and people like that and then you can recreate it over and over again, then yeah, maybe you should get paid. Yeah, I'll fold on that. You should get paid. But then I shouldn't be competing on the same algorithm as you. And I know people curate their algorithms, but it's weird. It's very weird. And it's very difficult to explain. It's sort of a thing that you experience as you begin to take your art seriously and post it, especially at the level that I post it at, especially on my Instagram, because my Instagram tends to be my most active social media, and I have more than 80,000 followers currently on one of the pages. The other one's sitting at a cool 60,000. So I'm showing my work to a lot of people, and I'm actually trending in the millions of views on a page that will not monetize me, by the way. Instagram will not monetize me. And then I go to other people's pages and they talk about how much money they make off of Instagram. And their thing is that they lick cereal while at the grocery store and then throw the empty boxes at people once they lick all of the cereal. But I'm making up a thing because I can't think of a good example of like random stuff that I've seen. But there are pages where people make a lot of money from just doing whatever. And I'm gonna sound like a hater here. I feel like I deserve to get paid. I make sketches, skits, reaction videos, voiceovers, stitches, roast videos, and the like. And I cannot get paid on an app. But people throwing cake at each other, those people can. And that doesn't feel right to me. I don't even think they don't deserve money. Get money so you can buy more cake and then throw it at more people. But how come I can't get paid too? It's weird. Trying to make money off of this, trying to pay your rent off of this has become weirder because you have artists mixed in with the general population of people who don't really care about creativity and are kind of just doing whatever with their friends because the app is just a fun thing. And it creates this space where when artists like me ask for compensation, everyone goes, well, why do you want money for that? It's just Instagram. And it's like, yeah, it's just Instagram to you. You post selfies. You have balloon fights. I wrote 5 sketches today and then filmed them all. And then I put up Saturday Night Live numbers this month. That I'm having a different experience on the same app, but because there's been this push for users to be able to create content too, because we're all creative and we can all do it. Now, what I do has become more devalued because the average person thinks that they can turn on the camera and do what I do. And that's because the apps want that engagement because that's how they make their money. And I don't necessarily want you all to not engage if you want to engage. But there needs to be a division between artist space and general population space so that we can figure out who's getting paid for what, how they're getting paid, so that way we can make sure everybody can make a living off of what they're doing. And we don't have that right now. It's just a mess. It's all thrown together. I shouldn't have to create with content creators who fold their hands and nod their head like this doing split screen videos with already viral content. That's another thing too. A lot of the content creation isn't even content creation because these people aren't creative. They're not doing anything. I saw this page with this one girl and she just narrates already viral videos with an intro and then plays the viral video itself. That's it. Her content is that other people did stuff. Same with the reaction videos. Same with the I'm watching One Piece. I'm watching Naruto. I'm watching this anime for the first time. How is it a type of content that other people are watching TV? How is other people watching TV a form of content? Like this is America's funniest home videos, but like way, way worse, because at least with America's Funniest Home Videos, people would submit their home videos to get them put on TV, and then they would get invited in the show. There's no way for other people to take your content and then run off with it. You have to engage and you have to actively submit. Now anybody can take any video that I've done, react to it, and go, ha, that was funny, even though I'm the one that made it. And their reaction to my video might do way better than anything I've actually done. That's not fair. And it's also not content creation. And I don't think people deserve to get paid for that. That's something I will not fold on. You don't deserve money if you look at other people's viral content for them and then go, yeah, that happened. Yeah, I know what happened. I watched it. I know what happened. I was there. This is even worse for the anime, manga, and comic community. There are entire pages dedicated to just clipping manga together, showing you the panels and going, Beerus is cold, isn't he? And that's it. That's the caption. The caption is Beerus is cold, and then the manga panels. Why are you not reading the manga so severely that somebody clipping it together counts as entertainment for you? It's a picture book. It's already social media. How many captions do you read while looking at a picture? It's already Instagram. How did you make that blow up? How did that get 8 million views? Same with the people who just look at stuff on TV and caption themselves while watching the TV without saying anything. Same with the people who put captions over entire scenes of cartoons or anime. You're not doing anything. These people aren't doing anything. They're just taking already existing content, putting captions over it, and going, cool, I've made stuff, because these apps push remixing and recontextualizing of art while passing it off as art. It's collage, but worse, because there's no reinterpretation. There's no subjectivity. There's no, I took these things and I put them together because this is how I feel about them. It's just random BS. Like I said earlier, you don't get to put a caption over a Dragon Ball Z fight, hit auto edit in the TikTok app, and then click the time to the music button, and then release that, and then call it art. That's ridiculously unfair and disrespectful to actual artists who work really hard on the stuff that they do. But no one seems to care. And that's where the audience part of this comes in. Audiences need to give a fuck about what they watch, and they don't. You don't care that stuff is AI. You don't care that it's just a reaction video. You don't care that somebody stitched somebody else's video, put an emoji in the corner, and then showed you the funny video. You're just looking at the fact that something funny is happening in front of you, and you don't care about the source. That's why AI is taking over. I got in an argument about an AI Pokemon page because I hate AI Pokemon. And somebody was like, well, I just think it's cool that the Pokemon are computer animated. No shit, dipshit. The computer animated Pokemon are always computer animated. All Pokemon are computer animated. Pokemon is a video game franchise. Pokemon is a video game franchise. It's always computer animated. We've had 3D computer animated Pokemon since Pokemon Stadium on the Nintendo 64. You have always known what computer animated three-dimensional Pokemon look like. You have had it since the 90s. You're an idiot. If you like AI because you want to see 3D Pikachu when we have had 3D Pikachu for decades, something is wrong with you. Oh, I wanted to look realistic. We have Detective Pikachu, bro. They had a movie about it. What be wrong with y'all, bro? What be wrong with y'all? So I have to compete with AI, grifting, right wing politics, and then the racist trolling, right? That's horrible, right? Every day I wake up and I don't know if my page is still going to be there because I get spam reported all the time. I have been reported for spam on Instagram at least 4 or 5 times, and here on YouTube I have been flagged multiple times. Very recently, I said that people who are the color of this Zord, people who are the color of this Zord, tend to live in racially segregated communities. So it is ironic that so many people who are the color of the Zord tend to vote against minorities and against immigrants because the vast majority of them do not live in communities with immigrants and with minorities, which is objectively true. A lot of people live in racially segregated areas, myself included. I currently live in a segregated city. So for me to vote against Asian people when I don't see Asian people ever would be very strange, because why would I beef with a community of people who I have very little contact with? But America, time and time again, shows us that people may vote against their neighbors simply because they're different, even when they're not even your neighbors, because they don't even live in the same zip code as you, let alone the adjacent one. I made commentary on that, and YouTube said that what I did was hate speech because I spelled out what this color is. That's it. I didn't use any slurs. I didn't call anybody any names. I just said that that color of people have a tendency historically to vote against minorities despite not being near any, meaning they have no reason to beef with us because the vast majority of us are not affecting them. That is it. And that is historical. That is true. That is founded. That is studied. That is Googleable. YouTube said that that was hate speech. Later that day on YouTube, in my comment section, I got called the N word. And when I tried to report the comment, YouTube said no. Time and time again, YouTube said no. People say horrific things to me in my comments constantly. And anytime I clap back at them, defend myself, or just make an easily observable point, my page gets shut down. Concurrently, lots of right wing pages that misinform people and grift them for their money continue to persist. Pages that said that science isn't real, that the vaccines are causing autism, those pages continue to proliferate and thrive. But I can't say that people who live in segregated communities and who do not have regular communication or conflict with minorities ironically vote against the minorities because they despise them despite the fact that they have never met those minorities. I might get taken down for saying that. So I live in a world where I can get called a racial slur, but I cannot quote historical fact. And it hurts. The bullying hurts. The shut up and talk about anime, stop getting political hurts, right? I live in the city of Chicago. I I I watched ICE take neighbors of mine. I logged on to Instagram one day and I saw horrific things happening to the neighborhoods next to mine and the neighborhood that I used to live in. I've seen family members and friends get taken into custody to be released later because ICE didn't even bother to check if they were citizens because they don't have warrants, and they grab people at random. And when I needed to talk about those things because they were affecting me, because they were important, because my friends and my family were directly affected by what is going on, my fan base told me to shut up and talk about Goku because my humanity was a little bit too inconvenient for them. So I'm reminded time and time again that I'm not actually even a person to the vast majority of the people who watch me, right? I'm not a person. I am a machine, a monkey that dances for them. And I do say monkey knowing the racial implications because let's be real about who's doing the complaining and what they think about me. Plus, they've called me one several times. It just is what it is. I am a monkey and I'm supposed to dance for coin. And most of the time, they don't even give me coin. I'm still not monetized on Instagram despite the fact that I average 5.9 views a month. It used to be 3.5, but it's gone up to around 5.9 views a month. That is my average. I get millions of views a month, hundreds of thousands here on YouTube. And I used to get hundreds of thousands of into millions on TikTok until the algorithm got strange because the president started acting the way he told us he was going to. So I am battered and grossly underpaid. And every day I have to face some new horrible racist thing. We lost Ash. For those of you who don't know, Ash was a 19-year-old black cosplayer, and they had to deal with severe bullying. And a lot of that bullying was racist in nature. Whenever they would cosplay a character, people would say horrific things to them, and it drove them to committing suicide. Earlier today, a black cosplayer did a free run cosplay, and a bunch of white cosplayers in the community spoke out against them cosplaying. We can't even exist in the realm of imagination. That's how much y'all hate us. Y'all hate us so much. Earlier today, uh, I woke up to my Instagram being flagged for spam because people have been reporting the comment that I put under a lot of my Instagram videos where I advertise that I have a Patreon and payment links, and that if people are interested in tipping me for my content or going on my Patreon to see any of the stuff that I have there, that they have the option of doing so by clicking the link in my bio. This is after a week of people telling me that they know where I live, trying to find me out in public by commenting on videos that I made in public, going, "Hey, what's that street sign? I think I know where that is. I think I know where you are," which is very creepy and also ridiculously not safe. Don't pull up on me. Don't ever pull up on me. Never. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. I'm not the one to do that with. And me waking up to being called racial slurs randomly in my comments. This is after I broke the milestone of 80,000 followers on one of my Instagram accounts. So I made a major milestone, and the racist trolling that I was dealing with has gotten worse. So when I say I understand why Ash did what they did, I do get it. Truly. I just wish they were still here. A 19-year-old black child killed themselves because people couldn't handle black people playing pretend, because that's how much they hate us. And the apps don't care. They don't see these comments as hate comments. They don't see this as hate speech. They don't see any of it as bullying. They never take the reports seriously. So not only did those trolls kill Ash, because I don't think Ash did it to themselves. I think this culture did. And I think the people who pushed them to doing it did. I do blame them. You're not supposed to blame others for people's suicide, but no, they pushed Ash. I do blame them. And I blame the apps that refuse to protect us while using our culture, our dances, our slang to skyrocket other types of people's careers. It creates an unyielding rage in me. Um, and it makes me not really want to do this anymore. If you've made it this far, thank you. I'm going to tell you a little story about, you know, me and content creation. I used to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. Sometimes I'd wake up at 5. And while I worked a full time job, right? anywhere between 36 and 50 something hours a week. I would wake up early. I would shower. I would put on random clothes and I would shoot multiple videos at 5 and 6 in the morning. Then I would change into my work uniform and I would go to work on the other side of the city. And I would work for 10, 12 hours. I would work doubles on the weekends. I worked down the street from Wrigley where the Cubs played, and I worked through Cubs season. So if there was a game, an event, a major concert, because we were right down the street from music venues, I was working that night and I would work multiple jobs. I would be a busser. I'd be a food runner. I'd be a host. I'd be a dishwasher. Whatever people needed. That's what I did at that job. And then I would come home after 12 hours of work and I would make more videos because the only thing I wanted to do was make people laugh. And then this year, I decided that I was doing this at a level where I could quit my job and I could do the content full time because the Patreon was big enough to make rent and the roast requests were coming in. But as the Patreon has begun to stagnate, at least in regards to growth, I'm thankful for everybody on that Patreon, whether you've been on it before and canceled, whether you're on it currently, whether you're thinking about it, I'm immensely thankful. But as that continues to stagnate, and as people report the comment where I advertise it, because the idea of me wanting to get paid for what I do offends somebody so much that they've decided to troll me about it. And I don't think they wouldn't do this to a creator who wasn't black. I don't think other colors of creators get some of the things that I get specifically. And I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I am. I don't know. I thought I was on my way to something, and it feels like I'm not. It feels like I'm making myself sick trying to keep up with the demand in order to make as many people laugh as possible, just for me to come to the sad realization that the vast majority of the people who I make laugh don't care if I die. I could die right now and never make another video again, and it wouldn't matter. Half of the people would call me the N word in the comments. I have 80,000 followers on one Instagram, 60,000 on another, 300,000 followers on my first TikTok, 20,000 on my second, 50,000 on my third. I am sitting on 500,000 followers, and I average millions of views a month, despite the great difficulty that I expressed to you all earlier. I should not be poor. I should not have to fight people to get them to consider $2 a month on a Patreon so that I can eat, so that I can keep making millions of people laugh, the vast majority of whom will laugh for free, all while enduring some of the most virulently racist commentary that I have ever had to hear. I am afraid for my life and my safety. Not because I think someone else is going to hurt me. I'm not concerned. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about y'all like that. Nah. It's because I'm afraid that one day the passive thought that I have of just being a little bit too tired to want to keep waking up is going to become an active thought again. So, for the foreseeable future, there will be no more Mo Hates Media. Patreon will continue to happen. I don't think I'm going to be anywhere else for a while because y'all don't know how to act and because no one's going to hold you accountable for it. You're just going to do it to everybody until there's no more human content left, specifically black human content. And then the bubble is going to fall on itself because the AI won't have anyone left to steal from because we're the ones who make everything for you. So, if you've ever donated, if you've ever given, if you've been on the Patreon, if you want to remain on the Patreon, if you've ever liked a thing I did, thank you. I will likely see you in the new year, but the rest of November and all of December is out. I'm tired. And I have given up a lot to make millions of people happy. And I am getting diminishing returns every time. So that'll be it. Thank you for your time. Peace out.